Me and boyfriend of 3 years had our first baby. We're white, baby is black. I had to prove my baby was mine with a DNA test after he accused me of cheating. I loved finding out I was pregnant. I had long discussed starting a family with Ryan, but never expected it so soon. 26 and 29 were young but ready. I thought we were. Ryan and I were pale with blue eyes, brown and blonde hair, so we were thrilled when the little pregnancy test was positive. Our parenting style, future, and baby were discussed. Will she look like me or Ryan's eyes? We argued over baby names. Everything was ideal. Family and close friends will attend our small wedding next year. Everything felt right. Everything fell into place in this little happiness. My dream was to raise our daughter with the same dreams we had. My goals seemed achievable. Our joy was genuine. I thought we were. Ryan was kind, thoughtful, and excited about fatherhood, a great partner. We discussed our nursery, color scheme, and car seats for hours. I thought everything would be fine, maybe perfect. Like him, I was excited. Ryan didn't tell me about his quiet question until after the baby was born, which surprised me. Everything changing question. Birthing Lily exceeded my expectations. Holding your baby for the first time slows time and quiets the world. She's finally here, I thought as I looked down at her wrinkled and soft. Love flooded me. Ryan stared at our daughter while holding my hand. I'll never forget his gaze, like she was the most beautiful thing he'd seen. He kissed my forehead and said, "She's perfect." Everything seemed fine, right? After the delivery, we were exhausted and confused, but the excitement of having her and becoming parents made everything fit. Lily was first held by Ryan. As he held her, his face softened and his gaze awestruck. I saw this changed everything for him. He seemed as excited as I was. Everything was fine for a while. Nurses and doctors praised her health. Increasing exhaustion didn't matter. The little family formed. Returning to our room changed things. Ryan looked at Lily's face while holding her. Sitting beside him, I watched. Except for machine beeps and hallway voices, the room was quiet. But something was off. He looked oddly still, like he was looking for something without success. Then he asked. Never expected this question. Why does she look that? First, I thought I misheard. He couldn't have met my thoughts. He didn't look at me when I checked his expression, focused on Lily. You mean what? It was hard to ask without sounding confused. I felt that familiar flutter of uncertainty. Her skin. It's dark. And her hair. He whispered, it's curly. How is possible? Heart fell, contrary to expectations. Face slap. All excitement and joy vanished instantly. He looked at our baby like a puzzle instead of our baby. Relaxing was my goal. I inhaled with a racing mind. I whispered, Ryan, to get his attention. My great-great-grandfather was black. Curly hair and dark skin characterized my aunts, cousins, and family. It happens. He looked blankly at me. His usual doubtful pause and thought wasn't there. This time, his eyes changed. He whispered, I don't know, looking at Lily again. Was surprised. I was surprised by her appearance. Different. My pulse rose. I sensed an unexpected beginning. The gentle removal of Lily from his arms brought her to my chest. Her warmth made me feel grounded and assured. But Ryan continued. He was doubting himself. Changing posture indicated tension. He regarded me differently. You sure she's mine? His voice cracked but remained soft and disbelieving. I mean, are you certain? Chest tightened. I didn't say anything when I opened it to respond. Really questioned me? Was the man I trusted for 3 years and was about to start a family with seriously doubting I cheated? I looked at him, heart racing, trying to hide my pain. I said, Ryan, carefully, never cheated on you. You know. Looking at Lily, he shook his head. No idea. How she looks. Too different. What to think? I felt it. The deception. He sowed doubt. Quite surprised. We didn't expect to be here hours after our baby's birth. I wondered if this was happening. Would he accuse me? Sorry, he mumbled. Though I hate to think it, I must. I'm confused. Breathing deeply, I tried to relax. I had to stay calm for Lily and myself. But inside, everything was falling apart. My partner questioned me and our daughter. I explained, but his eyes showed it. His interest waned. I couldn't shake my doubt. The moment Ryan asked if Lily was his changed everything. I tried to stay calm but felt like I was drowning. I couldn't understand what I heard. Really questioned me? I remembered our happy times planning our future, talking about marriage, and dreaming about having kids. He accused me of something I didn't do hours after our baby was born. Ryan said, I don't get it, shaking. How is this possible? I thought I knew you. I thought I understood us. But this baby is confusing. Ryan, please, I said, trying to speak clearly. I told you about my family. Several of my relatives have curly hair and darker skin. In our genes. How Lily turned out. Not listening. As he paced, he rubbed his hair in frustration. I don't care about cousins, I care about us. How could this happen between us? His jaw tightened as he regarded the floor. Emma, I do not comprehend. Why didn't you say? Why did you not tell me our baby might look like this? Had no idea. I yelled before stopping. In pain and confusion, my heart raced. She looked different than I expected, but I told you about my great-great-grandfather. It appeared you understood. My blood, family, and I never. I stopped mid-sentence due to incoherence. How was I teaching him basics? This shouldn't happen. Ryan and I resolved all our issues. But this? Within me, something broke. I tried to suppress my rising anger. Nothing helped. Ryan, why? Trembling, I asked. Why pretend this baby isn't yours? She's yours. Together, we made her. Stayed honest. You know I didn't. I saw his cold, distant eyes when he stopped pacing. I don't know what to think, he muttered. But I thought I knew you. Don't know. Explaining is beyond me. Not sure why she looks that way. Different. My stomach sank. You saying what? I asked, feeling the words hit me hard. You think I cheated? I didn't say that. He lowered his voice to persuade himself. Emma, explain it another way? Not sure what happened. Our daughter, our baby. Her appearance differs from mine. Different from us. I must know if she's not mine. Losing blood in my face, unable to breathe, he ignored me and stared at Lily, his mind racing. No, I whispered, shaking my head. Ryan, you're wrong. She's yours. So you own her and I didn't cheat. I adore you. I love both of you. A decision was made. He watched Lily sleep peacefully, unaware of the storm indoors. I need a paternity test, he said coldly. I must prove her ownership. Without proof, I doubt I'll stay. I was frozen. He wanted to test me after everything we'd planned. I felt like my world was crumbling and had no idea how to stop it. You want me to prove she's yours? I laughed, but not happily. It was bitter and painful. Ryan, take the damn test. No need to ask. I should never have to prove this. Never lied to you. Ryan hesitated and nodded, as if he couldn't hear my voice or pain. I'll test for paternity. If she's mine, I might believe you again, he said, his voice dead. He questioned everything we had and wanted me to prove my love for him and our family. I felt broken beyond repair, regardless of the test. Though I tried to stay calm, tears came. They hurt for the moment and for realizing that everything I thought we had and trusted was now in question. I held Lily and wondered how everything had gone wrong as Ryan didn't call or speak afterward. Ryan's paternity test request hung in the air like a curse, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. As I held Lily, I tried to understand his behavior. Why hadn't he told me his suspicions? Why did he suppress them until our daughter was born? In silence, memories came flooding back, little moments I had dismissed but now felt like pieces of a larger puzzle. Almost heard her voice. We told Ryan's mom, Diane, we were pregnant months ago. I didn't notice it then, but now I couldn't ignore how her attitude affected Ryan. She was going to be my mother-in-law, so I tried to be friendly, but I always felt uneasy around her. She saw me as an imposter, unfit for her son. Ryan called her to tell her about the pregnancy, but Diane was cold and, you don't know what you're getting into. I ignored it then. Perhaps she was anxious about becoming a grandmother. The comments followed. How often Diane made small comments about our relationship and me is hard to count. She mocked Ryan for settling for me, making me look inferior. I laughed. She was snarky, right? Later, I saw more. Much more. Diane looked at me strangely, judgingly, when Ryan and I visited her house for a family gathering one afternoon. Her tea on the table, she asked, So, Emma, where do you think your baby's hair will come from? Your genes, or? Her silence was accusatory. Despite feeling awkward, I didn't speak. I did not want to interfere. Making her family work was my goal. I laughed awkwardly and said, we'll see. But later heard her subtle insinuation. She doubted, my family might make our baby turn out differently. Thought she was odd. Her kind liked to dissect everything, right? More than occasional comments. Ongoing tension. Diane never said anything, but her look at me and her reference to people like me showed she was waiting to question everything. A few months before Lily was born, the comment hit me hardest. Diane, who had been strangely quiet, said, I just hope this baby doesn't have, what? As Ryan and I discussed baby names at his mom's house. Other features. She needn't finish. She needn't. She meant what I thought. It was her subtle way of saying she didn't want our baby to look like me. No one should look like one of them. I've never felt so insignificant in front of someone I should respect. Ryan was there. He said nothing. He was unaffected. He didn't defend us. He disregarded his mother's insults. That moment should have changed him, but he dismissed it as another comment. I thought everything would work after Lily was born. I thought happiness over our baby would erase doubts and negativity. Ryan questioned more than our daughter's father. It topped everything his mother fed him for months or years. Ryan felt like everything fell into place when our daughter was born, and her skin tone and features didn't match his expectations. Diane's poisoned words finally got to him, threatening my loyalty. My love was at risk. His mother's racism and hatred complicated our relationship. Flashbacks kept me from seeing him. I realized Ryan had internalized his mother's negativity and I was blind to it. Without telling me, he let his mother's words fester until Lily was born. While steadying my shaking hands, I said, I never knew you felt this way, full of emotion. You've always doubted me and us. You said nothing? You hid it by listening to her instead of me? Ryan didn't show enough guilt. Too little to fix his mother. I felt betrayed as he stared at me, Lily, and the damage his silence had caused. Chaos followed Ryan's paternity test demand. Left the hospital without saying goodbye, he barely acknowledged me or the baby. His shoulders were stiff and his face cold as he left. Not his style. Perhaps a stranger had replaced the man I thought I knew and abandoned me. I held Lily to my chest in that sterile hospital room, trying to understand what happened. My mind and heart raced. From we're a happy family to this? Few hours ago, we imagined our daughter, now. Ryan left, leaving me with my baby. Relaxing was my goal. I breathed deeply and reminded myself that this was just a temporary rough patch. It was quiet. The pain was real. I sought his text or message on my phone. Nothing existed. No sorry or, I'll be back soon. Just nothing. Next day, I called him. The heart was in my throat. 3 rings led to voicemail. I shakily left a message. Not sure what's happening, but I need to talk to Ryan. Simply go home. Not knowing what I wanted, we must resolve this. I needed his voice to know everything was fine. The calls went unanswered. My texts were read. Later that day, I wrote more desperately. Love you, Ryan. Please speak. I don't understand. Please, I need you. Nothing. My realization came on the 3rd day. I failed to engage him. No reply, calls, nothing. My screaming felt like I was alone in a room. He might be sitting quietly without checking in, I thought. He did it how? How could he ignore me at my worst? Silence meant more. It meant I wasn't worth fighting for. It rendered our years, memories, and plans worthless. I felt worthless to him. He failed to correct it. With Lily in my arms, I watched the empty parking lot from the window. How did we arrive? It seemed like someone else owned the good times now when I tried to remember them. Someone else, those without pain. Over time, isolation increased. I called several times but got no response. I thought my voice was echoing. Every time I saw Lily, I felt lonely. Ryan's absence distracted me from being her mom. Everything was eaten. I wondered what went wrong. Would I deserve this? Was it my fault? I questioned every word and gesture I made. Could I have missed something that brought us here? I contemplated his words and accusations to determine what went wrong. Was it my appearance? Was it my family? I couldn't comprehend it. Ryan's absence hurt the most. He was the only person I trusted to help me. Now, he was gone. I tried to stay calm for Lily. I had to. She deserved better than this, so small and innocent. But it was hard. My pain was unbearable. I saw a future I couldn't give her every time I looked at her, and it broke me. I sat in bed with her on the 3rd night to calm her fussing. The tears were unexpected. No effort was made to stop them. I let them fall. I cried for our relationship, our life, and the trust that was shattered in an instant. Ryan's silence spoke louder than his words. This final blow told me everything he wasn't ready to fight for us. It seemed he didn't want to listen or understand. As I held our baby, I realized I might raise her alone. The days before the paternity test blurred. The dread in my chest persisted. The test would confirm my suspicions that Lily was Ryan's, but a small, scared part of me wondered, what if it didn't? What if the test shattered everything? I kept telling myself it was just my anxiety, but the fear kept coming. I scheduled the test to maintain normalcy despite my mental chaos. Ryan barely spoke to me after the argument. He texted the time and location but didn't say much else. His response was stiff and detached, like he was going through the motions. But the worst part was that he didn't ask how I was feeling. No care for me or Lily, just silent acceptance. On test day, I felt like I was walking through thick fog. Although I couldn't see the path ahead, I knew I had to proceed. It was no longer about proving Ryan wrong, it was about proving myself right. I needed assurance that the truth would fix everything. I could tell Ryan and I were far apart when we met at the doctor. He ignored me when I entered. He sat with arms crossed, staring at the floor, unreadable. It felt like I wasn't there. No words came to mind when I wanted to say something. What else to say? What could he fix if his doubts were so deep? After the nurse called us in, I held Lily in the waiting room while Ryan gave his sample in the back. I tried to chat with the nurse, but I was distracted. I kept thinking about Ryan's empty eyes. I wanted him to look at me and say something genuine. Please show me that you still care and that we still have something to fight for. When he returned, he ignored me. He ignored Lily when I held her up. He sat in the chair, staring at the floor and tapping his foot nervously. Our silence was so thick I couldn't breathe. The nurse asked him to stay for a few minutes after the sample was taken to discuss details. But Ryan didn't hesitate. Without looking at the nurse, he stood up. I'm good, he muttered. May I go? Ryan, I said, trying to stay calm despite my inner turmoil. Can we just talk? You're ignoring me. At her. No interest in what happens here? He remained silent. He took his jacket and left without saying a word. I watched him leave, heartbroken. His daughter was ignored by the man I loved for 3 years and thought was my partner. He could not even apologize. As I held our baby in the sterile examination room, I felt like everything was falling apart. I took the test to prove my innocence to him. Now I wasn't sure. The test wouldn't close the gap. It wouldn't fix our trust or coldness. The nurse returned with a smile after a few minutes. Forced one back, but it missed my eyes. "He left?" she asked, looking at the door. Nodding, I tried to hold back tears. "Yeah," I whispered. "He left, just like that. He's probably just stressed," the nurse said gently, but I could tell she didn't know how to respond. Big deal. People respond differently. Said AITA. But I knew better. Not just stress. It was more broken and deeper. Our doubts, fear, and distance were always there. The paternity test was another step towards something I couldn't fix. After the test results came in a few days, I called Ryan immediately, hoping he would want to be there for the truth. "I have the results," I said into the phone, sounding confident. I received a text almost an hour later. "I'll come over." I could tell he was nervous when he arrived. His red eyes indicated he hadn't slept. But when I opened the envelope and read the positive results, confirming Lily was his whole body stiffened. He stopped moving and turned pale. He stared at the paper in disbelief. Tears followed. I had never seen him cry before he broke down in front of me. He looked guilty and ashamed, as if he couldn't believe he'd let things get so far. He shook his shoulders and covered his face with hands. "I'm sorry," he sobbed. "I'm sorry." At that moment, I understood. His tears went beyond the test results. I think he was crying because he knew the damage was done from all the doubt, pain, and distance he had caused me. No test could repair our broken trust. When the test results arrived, I felt their weight before opening the envelope. My heart raced as I held the small, sterile paper. Deep down, I knew what it would say. But part of me hoped and wished I was wrong. Maybe it was a bad dream. Perhaps a misunderstanding would resolve everything. No, there wasn't. Positive stared at me when I opened the envelope and took out the paper. The child was his. Ryan had our daughter Lily. He was expressionless when I looked up. He was silent at first. He stood there frozen, staring at the paper as if it could erase everything he had been thinking for days. In addition to fear, his hands shook as if the world had collapsed. His shoulders hunched, and I wondered if he would cry, scream, or leave again. Tears followed. Ryan broke down in front of me, trembling. He sat on the couch, holding his face as if he couldn't believe what had happened. His shallow, panicked breathing filled the room as he sobbed. First, I stayed put. I watched him, trying to understand. He had been cold and distant to me, but now, like this? A wave of confusion and betrayal hit me. He gasped, "I'm sorry," his voice breaking. "I'm sorry, Emma." I stood there with the test results, unsure what to say. I wanted to shout at him with so many words, but they wouldn't come. I was too shocked and broken. I was overwhelmed by grief instead of the relief I had hoped for the moment we could move on. I shouldn't have doubted you," he whispered, heavy with guilt. "I'm just very confused, not sure what to think."